Moshing, a type of aggressive dance typically done on a metal show or a hardcore show. Today I will be going over the details of where the origins of mosh came from, how to do a mosh, some tips and tricks, and maybe even some moves I can show you. And when it's all done, I'll show you what it looks like all put together. The term moshing was originated in the early 1980s, and it was associated with the American hardcore punk scene from Washington, D.C. Now, moshing wasn't always called a mosh. It used to be called mash. The lead singer of the punk band Bad Brains pronounced the word mosh due to his heavy Jamaican accent. To mash it up was to go into a crazy, aggressive frenzy with the music, hence the term moshing. By the late 1980s, the word mash was officially changed to mosh, and bands like Anthrax and Stormtroopers of Death began to heavily influence this new type of dance. In the early 1990s, punk had split into many subgenres, and among them, the hardcore scene was born. This was when moshing really began to become what it is today. Now, in the year of 2012, moshing has become a part of our culture. Subgenres that people mosh to are classic rock, heavy metal, metalcore, hardcore, thrash, deathcore, death metal, punk, and many other subgenres of rock. Now, some terms associated with moshing are moshing, or otherwise known as slam dancing, mosh pit, circle pit, hardcore dancing, hardcore bit, and crowd surfing. Now, moshing or slam dancing is just basically body boxing with a group of people. Now, it can be done anywhere from your backyard to like a basement with recorded music, or it's more popularly done at like shows at like concerts, and it's mainly associated with the genres of deathcore, metalcore, and classic rock. Now, moshing is typically done in a mosh pit, which is a group of people spread out over an area called the pit, and this is where they'll be doing their moshing. Now, a mosh pit you can usually only find at concerts because there's not a lot of people. Like I said, you can mosh in the backyard, but it's not the same. Like, you can't have a mosh pit in the backyard because there's not as much people there at concerts, so you can only find them at concerts. But another type of a mosh pit is called the circle pit, and this is a pit that's like when a band or a group of like members from the band will initiate this, and they'll tell the people in the crowd that's already moshing to begin running clockwise or counterclockwise around the edge of the pit. So you'll have a bunch of people just running in a giant circle, while people in the middle of the pit will be moshing or hardcore dancing. Now, if you want to get really complex, a circle pit, you can have one group of people run one way, and then you go in like an inner ring, and the inner ring's running the opposite way, and it can get like really intense like that. Now that you know about the history of moshing and where it came from, and you know some of the terms associated with moshing, I will now go over on how to properly do a mosh. Some things you'll need before you go to do a mosh, I guess, are a ticket to the concert to get into it, your band's favorite t-shirt, that kind of stuff, and some confidence, because if it's your first time, it really takes a lot of confidence to go out there and give it a try. Step 1 could be opening up a mosh pit. Now, as you'll notice in the video I'm about to show you, when the crowd begins to sway from side to side or becomes pushy and shovey, and you begin to swaying back and forth or pushing and elbowing them back, this is when a pit begins to break out. The more you push back, and the more room you begin to get, you'll notice a pit breaking out. Step 2 is if there's already a mosh pit open and you want to mosh. At the breakdown of a song, which is the slow and heavy section of the song, you'll begin to like feel like, I guess, the music like flow through you. It's more of an opinion-based feel, but you'll understand what I mean when you actually go to a concert and try it. But at this slow, heavy section, that's usually when the people begin to like really get into moshing, and this is when usually the time the mosh starts, and you should definitely go for it. After that two-step process, you're basically already done with the mosh. But the amount of alternatives you can do once you're in the mosh is almost endless. Like, whatever your mind's up to and whatever your imagination feels, just run with it and try it. Some popular moves I guess you can do is with friends, and this is called tag teaming. Now the first move I like to do is called the spin cycle, and this is when you and another friend interlock arms like this, except your other friend is facing opposite of you and you're facing this way. You begin to tug against them like this, and you begin to run this way as your friend runs that way, creating a faster pull on the, getting like a heavier pull on the spin, and the faster you run, the more the spin gets. Now, this can be a really effective move against a lot of people in the pit. It's a lot of fun to try. Now, another popular move there is in the moshing world, there isn't really a name for, but it's when a friend, you and a friend will like face each other back to back, and you will interlock arms like this. And when you interlock arms, one of your friends will lean forward, therefore lifting you off the ground. And while you're off the ground and your friend's hunched forward, you will kick your legs up like this, like really fast. And this creates like a really like heavy effect against some people, and it's a lot. This is also a lot of fun to try. Another fun thing to do is crowd surfing. Now, crowd surfing, there's like the best way to, when you're at a concert and you want to like get up, is find two people and pat both of them on the shoulder. And all they'll do is the guy on your left will lean towards your left foot and he'll put his hands out like this. And you'll put your left foot in the right hand, I mean in the two hands, and then find the guy on your right and pat him on the shoulder and do the exact same thing except put your right foot in there. So therefore there's two guys facing this way, and you're standing and you're holding and you're supporting yourself on their shoulders. Now that I've gone over all the moshing steps and some of the tips you could do, I'm just going to show you what it would look like at a concert. Now, the video is kind of dark because this is what it normally looks like at a concert, but this is all of it kind of put together into like one final like sequence, but enjoy. Now, like I said, the amount of possibilities of moves and the amount of people you can do the moves with is completely endless. I mean, it just really depends on, it's just really up to your imagination, really. I mean, just run wild and try them. In conclusion, moshing is a great way to relieve stress and have fun at a metal concert. It's fun and safe if done the right way. If you follow my 2 easy steps and some of the tips I mentioned, you'll be moshing in no time. Maybe you can even give some of those moves I mentioned a try. So next time you're at your favorite concert, give moshing a try. You're not going to regret it.